Sicha we're going to learn today is Vayeira, Sicha Gimmel, and Chof. It's actually a very famous Sicha, a very famous inyan that the Rabbi explains the depth of the kesher of a Yid to the Eibishter beginning from the Zman of the Bris. So the Rabbi begins, in Medrash wird erzählt, it's explained in Medrash, as Yitzchak and Yishmael hoyu medainim zeim ze, Yitzchak and Yishmael had a conversation, had a debate. Ze imer ani chove mimcha, shnemalti to shloisha shana. Yishmael tained, I'm better than you, because I had a bris when I was 13. Ze omer, and Yitzchak responded, ani chove vani mimcha, I'm better than you, shnemalti leches yomim, because I had a bris at 8 days. Das was nemalti l'shloisha shana ken sein mer choviv is moving bepashtus. The fact that Yishmael felt that he was better because he had a bris at 13 years old is obvious. With the Medrash is the noch mamshich, as the Medrash continues, as Yishmael had getainet, Yishmael claimed, Shehoya sipek biyodi limches v'lem mochisi. I was able to not listen to the Eibishter, to be moiche and not have a bris. And L'Poel Mamish, I was masking to have a bris. So because I was masking to have a bris at 13 years old, I'm better than you. You didn't have a choice, Yitzchak. You are 8 days old. But dafür beverstehen, says the Rebbe, we have to understand, was for a Yisren Meili is do by Nemalti leches yomim. What's the big Gewaldigkeit that Yitzchak claims that he's better than Yishmael that had a bris at 13 years old, the fact that he had a bris at 8 days old? Because of that, this great mile that 8 days old has, that Yitzchak claimed because of that he's better. The Fochas, he should have been quiet, he should have said, okay, why would he be better because he's 8 days old? Forshim Zog, and some of Forshim want to say, the mile is in them was mitzvah b'shaita odif. We know this klal of chaviva mitzvah b'shaita. When you do a mitzvah at the proper time, it's better. Umila is doch zman aleches yom. Yitzchak was taining, you're right. Al pisvara, al piseichel, you're better. Sipek b'yod chalimches v'lei mochisa. You really could have said no, and you said yes. You're a great guy. But you're missing in a chelak ikri of the mitzvah, or part of the mitzvah, because you didn't do it in the right time. We know that the bris milah is minus to 8 days old. I had the schus, takenat bibchirasi, wasn't my choice, to have the mitzvah at 8 days old. So mela, I'm better. Aber, das is nicht glatik. This is not a smooth teretz, weil, says the Rebbe in the brackets. Neusif was, in addition to the fact, was wie bald, also if milas Yishmael, hat der Eibishter angesagt erst, wenn gewann ben Yud Gimmel. Since Yishmael was erst commanded to have a bris when he was 13, hat nit ken Ort zu sagen, as bei ihm hat gefällt die mitzvah b'shaita. It's true that in later days the mitzvah to have a bris is at 8 days old. But L'Poel Mamish, he was commanded to have a bris when he was 13. So that became his shaita, that became his man. Weil bei ihm ist dann ben Yud Gimmel Shana given die Shaita von der mitzvah. Since he did the mitzvah exactly when he was supposed to, when he was told, it has l'cha'oira, the same exact mile and advantage of a Yid having a bris later days to 8 days old. And the Rebbe adds as another Maimer HaMuzgin and a Segraim in the parentheses that this idea that although it's not the proper time b'derech klal, but since b'derech prat, the mitzvah was given to him at that time, that's also called mitzvah b'shaita. The Medrash says that Avram Avinu's bris happened on Yom Kippur. Be'isas der din is as milo shaloi bizmano is nit deiche Shabbos v'yomtiv. We know the halacha that a milo is doiche Shabbos and yomtiv, but only a milo bizmano, a milo b'yom hashmini. Any milo that's shaloi bizmano, for example, if the baby was sick, the baby was yellow, so you have to push off the bris. The bris is not doiche Shabbos and yontif. There are other cases also that a bris is not doiche Shabbos and yontif, but one of them is a milo shaloi bizmano is not doiche Shabbos and yontif. We know that Avram Avinu the Ovis kept the whole Torah, even before the Yidden received the Torah. So how is it possible that Avram Avinu did the bris on Shabbos? Vibald is as vibald is demolt in stave geworden. Ala milo is as bei ihm given a milo bismano, because for Avram Avinu that was a milo bismano. That's when he was commanded by the Eibishter to make a bris. So b'meila at that point it became a milo bismano. Neisif loze, in addition to the fact that Yishmael also had the mile of chaviva mitzvah b'shaita, because that was his shaita. Says the Rebbe, the inyan for mitzvah b'shaita odif is blois a mile protis in kiyam ha-mitzvah, zman ha-mitzvah. The mile of doing a mitzvah at the right time is only a specific mile in the mitzvah. It doesn't change the eichus or the klodos ha-mitzvah. Heint wie kem vergleichen the chvivos von kiyam ha-mitzvah b'shaita zu der mile from milas Yishmael Amayla b'shaychus zu klolus kiyum mitzvah. In other words, like this, Yishmael was timing, I have a greater mila over you, that the mitzvah, I decided to do the whole mitzvah. You, Yitzchak, didn't decide to do the mitzvah. Your father decided to do the mitzvah for you. He decided to be mal you at 8 days old. I made a decision to do the mitzvah. So what did Yitzchak answer? True, the mitzvah is not my choice. Someone else decided I should do the mitzvah. And that person decided the mitzvah should be done at the right time. No. Yishmael Tanya says, I had a choice, I had a choice to do the mitzvah. So Vaad, I'm better than you. Because I was able to say no. Because Yitzchak had one prat in the mitzvah that he did, so to speak, in a better oifen than Yishmael, because he did it b'shaitot l'shmeina yomim, that takes away from the etzem maila that Yishmael has over Yitzchak, that he decided to do the mitzvah. That l'choid is shver to say that that's the reason why Yitzchak answered that he's better because he was nimel l'shmeina yom. In addition to the fact that there was no chisaron of mitzvah b'shaita to Yishmael, as the Rebbe mentioned before, because that was his shaita. Muzmin sagen, the fact that Yitzchak still tainet that shmeina yomim is better, this forces us to say, as the inyan for nimel l'shmeina yomim is not nor a prat in their mitzvah's manner. The fact that he was nimel l'shmeina yomim is not a siman that the prat, the mitzvah was done in a certain prat better than Yishmael, nor does his negeh so close in hamila. The whole mila of being nimel l'shmeina yomim is a different mila than nimel l'shleishes rishana. The whole mitzvah is different, not that the prat of the mitzvah is different. Till now we learn pshat, the mitzvah is the same. The mitzvah is the pula. You do the mitzvah's mila, Yishmael did the mitzvah, and Yitzchak did the mitzvah. And afkemin is, Yitzchak did it at the right time, Yishmael didn't do it at the right time. No. The pshat must be the fact that he says it's a better mitzvah. The whole mila is different. Mila l'shmena yomim hat ander geder echos. It's a whole different kind of mila. You can't compare the mila l'shmena yomim to the mila of shleishes rishana, which we don't understand why. The chayda doesn't make any sense. The chayda, the mitzvah is the same mitzvah's mila, and it shouldn't make any difference if it was done l'shmena yom or l'shleishes rishon. The way the Rebbe proves this is by the mere fact that Yitzchak tained ani chaviv mimcha. We know many times when you learn in Teira, in Gemara, in Poskim, and the Rebbe uses this nekud in many of his sichos, the kasha is machriach the teretz. The fact that we see something that's such a pella, that guf is machriach, that this inyan is different, whatever the case is. We have to find a biur. And that's the point that the Rebbe is going to bring in the Sicha, is to give a biur why take it's a different kind of mila when it's the Shemena Yom. Das is oich muchach, but the Rebbe says this nekuda is also proven from a different place. From them was Chazal sagen, the fact that Chazal tell us, Odom Marishin itztav al Sheva mitzvahs. Odom Marishin received the Sheva mitzvahs. Noyach, Nitoyisif lo Evim Menachai. Noyach added Evim Menachai. The mitzvah of Evim Menachai was added through Noyach. Avrom nitztav ala Milo. Avrom got the mitzvah's Milo. And Yitzchok choncho l'shmena yomim. Yitzchok was the one who was mechanech, did the mitzvah the first time l'shmena yomim. Yitzchok harishin hanimo l'shmena yomim. Because Yitzchok was the first to get the bris on 8 days. Why is that? He's sofa on Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu got Mila, and Yitzchak did the same Mila. Happened to be 8 times, 8 days old. That's like that's like a new Gedder and Mila, but he got something new. Well, the Chayre, if I was told Fananda the Medrash mitzvahs Mila of Tzvei, why does the Medrash separate the Inyan of Mila to Avram's Mila and then Yitzchak's Mila, which happened to be in a prat only the Shmena Yom? The Tzivui of them to Avram under Inyan von Chanchal l'Shleisha Yom durch Yitzchak. Why these two Inyanim? See, der Fall was bei Yitzchak in is Netesef geworden. Der ein prat von Nimmel l'Shmeina Yomim. Just because by Yitzchak he had an extra mile that it was done l'Shmeina Yomim, is das maspik of miyacha sein zu ihm der chinuch von mitzvahs Mila. So he's considered the mechanech, the one who did it the first mitzvahs Mila. He didn't do it first. Avram Avinu did it first. He did it first, l'Shmeina Yomim. Big deal. Wie say them is das oistellen b'fnei atzmai to give it a separate category equal me'ein achiluk v'hayisofe von Mila l'gabe Evim Menachai, equal to the extra mitzvah that Avram Avinu Noach got over Adam edition, and Avram Avinu got over Noach, and Yitzchak got a new mitzvah. What was the new mitzvah? Shmeina Yom. So the same thing is therefore gedrungen. This Maimer Chazal also forces us to come to the conclusion as the inyan von Nimel Shmeina Yomim. We come to we're forced to come to the conclusion that Nimel L'Shmeina Yomim has something that Nimel L'Shleishes Rishona does not have. And that's why Yitzchak told him, Ani Choviv Mimcha, because Shenemalti L'Ches Yomim. That's a fact. Now we have to understand why. L'Chayra, this would be enough. The fact it's a different bris milah. I don't need to know why. The biur will give us an understanding of what mitzvahs milah does with the obvious heira, how we have to act in our avodas Hashem. V'shleima der klaren in them. You could chayred explain the v'shleima. We could say the biur is the following: the teichem from bris milah. The idea of bris milah is b'loshen haposuk, as the posuk says in Parshas Lech Lecha, last week's parsha. V'hoiso brisi b'vsarchem. The bris, the milah will be a bris on your basar, lebris oilam, for an everlasting bris. Which means durch bris milah wird aufgetan an ewiger Verbund zwischen dem Himmel mit dem Eibishten Kaviyach. Through bris milah, there's an everlasting bond and connection and a bris between a yid, the nimol, and the Eibishter Kaviyach. Just like two people make a covenant, make a bris between each other. When they want to secure that ava that exists between them, that no situation, because we all know that there are aliyas v'yeridis in a person's relationship and ava from one to another, and you know that there might come a time that the ava won't be begoli so strong, so you make a bris now to ensure that even through all the trials and tribulations of the relationship, it should stay forever. Nothing should bother it. So what do we do in order to ensure that this ava and this relationship stays forever? You make it through a bris. But there's a yesodistic difference between the krisis bris that two humans make, between the krisis bris that a Eibishter makes with a yid. Aber nigeya krisis bris zwischen Menschen, concerning a krisis bris between people, was by a nivra seinen shaykh shinuyim, because by a nivra, if you're not a lekus, you're not nitzchias, you're not the Eibishter, there are changes. Is meglech as euch de bris soll der noch bottle werden. The bris can also be bottled. Just to illustrate with an example, we don't really find today people making a bris, making a bond or a covenant. But sometimes we find in halacha such an idea. L'moshel, person gets married and he wants to ensure that he's going to stay married to his wife forever and never give her a get. So the halacha gives an eitzah. So a person says, for example, he wants to make sure that no get that he'll ever write should have any toik if he wants to stay married to her. So what does he do? He's meiser midah. He makes a declaration, get, kol get, she'echte, any get that I'm going to write from now on is bottle. So basically what he did was, he strengthened the connection to his wife. Sometimes a person could do it for bad reasons, but I'm talking about a person who wants to do it for a good reason. He says now, I want to make sure that this bris, this marriage, this relationship that I have will never ever be bottled, even if I think I want to write a get, because I'm going to make a meidah now, meiser meidah, that any get that I write will be bottled. So the Vayeira, how can this person ever give a get? He go to Bezdin. How could Bezdin ever allow this person to give a get? Maybe he was meiser meidah. And what if he was taken meiser meidah? So the din is very positive. B'shas you go to Bezdin, you're mevatel, that meidah, that bris, so to speak, that you made, that the get is going to be bottled, you're mevatel, that meidah gufa. You say the meidah that I said that's mevatel the get, that gufa is bottled. Maimer hamuzgir, just a side note, what if you make a meidah, that any meidah that I'm going to make to be mevatel, that meidah, I'm mevatel that as well? So that's what happens when a person has to go to Bezdin to write a get, for whatever reason, he's mevatel any meidah that's mevatel the get, and then he's also mevatel any meidah that was mevatel this meidah, and then he mevatel that was mevatel this meidah that was mevatel that meidah. You say you're mevatel every meidah the meidah yatseif kol hadeiros, and you end up with the last din, the last meidah that you mevatel all the meidahs. But that was a maimer amuzgim. But the point is, the bris itself, the meidah itself, you could be mevatel, and then the ava can leave. But the Eibishter macht a bris. The word of a bris of the Eibishter is lebris oilom. That mitzias of a bris oilom exists only by the Eibishter. Mit Ayiden, durch dem was Ayiden sich mal, is es a bris oilom. Welches is nicht shaykh kein shinui. There cannot be any shinui. That bris could never ever be bought. That's the inyan of the bris milah. But das ist einer von den Beyurim. It's one of the reasons was Avram Avinu hat sich nicht mal gewähnt, bis der Eibishter hat ihm angesagt auf dem. Afal pi as kiem Avram Avinu kolat to the kula actually nicht no. A famous shaila. Chassidus, it asks, if Avram was mekayim all the mitzvahs, he certainly knew that there's going to be a tzivui for Klal Yisrael, for bris milah. Why didn't Avram Avinu take initiative on his own and make a bris? The reason is poshut. Weil a nivra zayin dika bal shinui ken bekoyach atzmen dit ufton an inyan oilam a bris oilam. Bris, Mila, is not only the Maisa HaBris. Certain mitzvahs are the Maisa HaMitzvah. Certain mitzvahs, the Maisa HaMitzvah is not enough. Moshel Tfilin, Sukkah, you also have to have the Kavonas HaMitzvah. You have to have a Kavona that you're sitting, Leman Yedu Dereseichem in the Sukkah, Ki Basukkah is a Shafti as B'nai Yisrael. The Kavona is a Chelek of the mitzvah. Bris Mila, says the Rebbe, the Bris Oilom is a Chelek of the mitzvah. That's a Chelek of the mitzvah. So Avram Avinu couldn't do that on his own. You can't make a Bris Oilom with someone that's not making the Bris Oilom together with you. And if the Eibishter is not telling Avram Avinu to make a Bris, so it's a one-sided Bris Oilom, one-sided Bris. It's a one-sided Krisis Bris. You can't have a one-sided Krisis Bris. It's impossible. By definition, it's not a Krisis Bris if it's one-sided. So Avram Avinu, he could have done the Maisa HaBris. He could have done the Bris. Oh, but the Krisus Bris with the Eibishter didn't exist. Because he was never commanded by the Eibishter to make a Bris Olam. That's why he wasn't Mekayim the mitzvah. All the other mitzvahs that he was Mekayim the Maisa mitzvah. Because that is the Cheftza of the mitzvah. But the Cheftza, so to speak, to use the Lashon of Lomdus Abyssal, the Cheftza of mitzvahs Milam is the Bris Olam with the Eibishter. An Eibik in Bris. Das kann sich ufton bloß mit dem Keach HaBeire. Bris Olam can only be from the Eibishter. A Nivra can't make a Bris Olam. You can make a bris from today to tomorrow. You can be bewattelt the bris. Was sagt, was gibt der Koyach, as wir heute brisi goimel the bris olam. Der Eibishter, the Vayeira, is the only one that can make a bris olam. That's why as much as Avram Avinu probably was chalishing to do the mitzvah's bris even before he was 99 years old. Nevertheless, he didn't do it because he didn't have the Koyach to make the cheftze of a bris, what a bris is supposed to be, the bris olam. Damit wird man verstehen, für was das Mann von Bris Mila ist, darf bei Katnus oder Shmene Yomim. Now we can understand Bechlal. L'chi'oira, there's an obvious question. Such a meirendike Krisis Bris that the Eibishter is making with us, shouldn't we have a choice? Shouldn't the Eibishter basically tell us, listen, you want to make this Krisis Bris with me? When you decide to do it, I'm here. It, so to speak, looks like as if it's weiter a one-sided Bris. And the Eibishter is now the one making the bris without any say of the person, the Nimel, who's having the bris. Why is that? When the Nimel is noch atinik und kann sich legamen nicht statt sein bekeach atzmen the kiyam mitzvah, the tinik has no connection to this krisis bris, to the bris. Why is that? All other mitzvahs, the chiyuv is when you're a bar chiyuv, when you're older. Mashenke mitzvah's bris, so to speak, is even before he's a bar chiyuv. In fact, in the earlier Ha'ara, the Rebbe brings that one of the pshatim in what Yishmael Taina that he did it to 13 years old, and then he said also the Milo of Sipik, Biyodi Limches, Veloy Mochisi are two separate in Yonim. The Rebbe says in Ha'ara too. Number 113, I did it when I'm a Bar Chiyuve. I did it, Godel HaMetzuvah Vayisa. I'm a Bar Chiyuve, I'm a Bar Mitzvah Bochen Kaviyochel. And therefore I decided to have a bris. Number 2, I also have a second mile of Sipik B'Yodi Limchus. The time of Yishmael, according to this order, that he's a Bar Chiyuv, is a Givaldik time. It's better than being a baby and nobody asked you. Says the Rebbe, the Rebbe, because of what a bris Milo is accomplishing, the bris Oilum, it's dafke when you're cotton. Sag was der Mensch führt durch mit seinen eigenen Keches. Something that a Yid or a person does on his own, with his own Keches, fordert a Hachone in Zman, bis genug great und hat die Chelos das zu tun. It takes time till a person is ready to do something on his own. Maschenke in der Bris, was wird aufgetan durch Mitzvahs Mille, kommt in ganzen Mitzad der Vayeira. Es ist nicht talking Tfisas Yidei Odom Hanimel in them. In other words, a Yid can anyways not make a Bris Oilom. If you were able to explain and assume that a Yid, a Nivra, could also make a Bris Oilom, beside that. So work on yourself. Work very, very hard till you idle yourself always to be able to connect yourself to the Eibishter with a Bris Oilom. And that takes time. It's impossible. Bris Oilom is not shaykh by a Nivra. The concept of a bris only comes mikoyach habayri. Adrabah, the Yid is to stay out of it. Faket, maybe the Yid could be a shter, as we'll see soon. He could bother this deep connection because there'll be other inyanim, ulterior ideas and motives possibly mixed in. Dafki, because it's coming from the Vayeira, so the Eibishter made sure that the Rachanimal has no say. Der Pu'ula Samitzvah Gufe vertaki geton durch an Adam. The actual bris milo, Take has a person, the moil has to do the bris. But he's not making the bris. Aber der bris, was schafft sich durch them, he's making the krisa. But the covenant, the connection that happens through the bris, the moil doesn't do. He's doing it in the Shlichus of der Eibishter. That's wird aufgetan in ganzen Mitzad der Eibishter. That's Dafke Mitzad der Eibishter. It says in the order 19, Kimavur bekam bekremis in Chassidus, Shemilo hibchinas isarusa de le'elo she'ein isarusa de latata magas shom. It's the madrega of isarusa de le'elo where isarusa de latata could never reach. It's not possible for it to reach. Therefore, there's no point in having the racha nimoil or the nimoil having a say in the matter because we're dealing with a hakrisis bris and a hashpor which comes to such a high madrega. It's only bekeach habere. And he adds there a moire de kevort. Upulas amilo says in Chassidus, hurak asora sa'orla mastir al gilizeh. The pu'ula of the moil is just to remove the cover that doesn't allow that krisis bris and that gilui oir of yisarusa de la'ela that affects the yid. That's all he's doing. The connection, the deepest connection is there. The asora sa'orla takes that off. That's the nekuda, although the moil is doing the pe'ula, but the bris is only bekeach habere. Das heißt, it's nicht der Pshat, dass durch mitzvahs mile verbindet sich der Mensch mit dem Eibishten. It's not the Pshat that we're doing something to connect ourselves to the Eibishter. That's impossible. As much as we'll connect ourselves to the Eibishter, there will never be a bris oilam. But verkehrt, it's the opposite. B'shas ha'yid is ichma, b'shas ha'yid is a bris. Verbind der Eibishter the Yidden mit him. The Eibishter is the one who's connecting the Yid with him in a bris oilam. And that's impossible by a nivra to do, and therefore it's done when he's a child. The nivra is netokim tam. Therefore, there's no reason we soll warten bis der Kind wird werden a Godel. There's no reason to wait till the kid grows up and becomes a bar chiyuve. Und kann allein bestattet sein sich in dem Kiyum mitzvah and to himself decide to be part of this great krisis bris. Verkehrt, it sounds very nice and very exciting for a yid to decide to do that, and we see it bepoil when you have people that didn't have a bris milah at a younger age, and suddenly when they're older they get a bris. You see taka the gewaldige excitement that they have to be able to be mekayim this bris milah and this krisis bris with the Eibishter. That's taka true, but nevertheless we don't want that. It doesn't help. There's no mile in having this excitement because you're not adding to the krisis bris. It's very nice, but you're not adding anything. Und der Ribber is aderabe by the erste Möglichkeit, by the first opportunity. Wie nur der Kind ist genug stark, like it says in Poskim Mitzvorim, as long as you're available, the first moment, which begins on Yom HaShmini, is minimal. We make that krisus bris right away. Kimuvan, if a person didn't have a bris at a baby, you make a bris when he's older. Pisa wird man recht verstehen, der Meile Milas Yitzchok, der Rishon Animal Shmene Yomim, legabe Milas Avram Bishmo. Based on this, we can understand, as the Maimer Chazal, we said before, Chazal separated the Milo of Yitzchok, that he was Nimel Shmeina, as it's a separate, different kind of bris. It's a different Milo, different krisis bris, a different connection. What's the Pshat? So Avram, in his gegeben geworden mitzvahs Mila, Schnochdem, für hat sich dazu Meichen given. Sof kol sof, Avram Avinu was Mekayim mitzvahs Mila after a tremendous amount of achona and preparation. What does that mean? Durch sein friedike Avoide, bis während die Tzadik tes schon mit der Seide war droge. Avram Avinu worked very hard in his Avodas Hashem to reach the Madrege of Tzadik tes schon to be able to have a bris. Mit the verschiedene Madreges in them, by the different levels that Avram Avinu had, as it's Yudua, the famous, is brought in Hilchos Avodah Zorah, when the Rambam writes that he was Ben Arboim, Kishihikid is Beire, the Besiyah Kesef Mishnah asks, L'cheru we find the Medrashim that he was 3, he was 40, he was 48, in other ages. And he answers that it was stages. He began to be makir as boyri ben sholish, mit the verschiedene madregis in them, ben sholish, ben arboim, ben menches. Sein avoide zum mefarsim sein elikus beoilam, the primary avoide of Avram Avinu to be mefarsim to spread elikus in the world. Bizer of the great, the hechste shleimus was his meglich by a nivra, till he finally reached at 99 years old. He worked his way up to the tachlis shleimus of a nivra, what a nivra could reach. Und erst dennoch is him gegeben geworden milmaila mitzvah smila durch werchas geworden atomim. Like it says, it's halach lefone v'ayei tomim. That's when the Eibishter told him to make him on him the bris milah to become a tomim. That was after his tremendous avodah for 99 years or 97 years. Ekev. That's one of the Mekayis that he was 3 years old kishikid his boyde, because when he was 100 it says Ekev Kufayin Beis. He lived to 175, so it was Ekev Kufayin Beis years that he would hikid his boyde. Und der Rebbe was in sein Kiyum mitzvahs Mila nicht gewinn mudgish v'nikr begiloi, hat das ist a bris und keshe was kommt legamri in ganzen normal Meile. As much as the Eibishter Lepeil Mamish made the bris with Avram Avinu, the same bris oilam, it's true. But to say that you can tell from the mitzvahs milah that the Eibishter, so to speak, gathered Avram Avinu and made a bris with him without any agreement, so to speak, from Avram Avinu and just took him legamri, no. Avram Avinu worked for it. So to speak, he deserved it. That's not the ultimate kesher atzmi that exists and that's happening and being accomplished by bris milah. Although it for sure happened by Avram, but it's not niked, it wasn't obvious, because he worked for it. Das heißt, euch bei Avram Avinu, euch bei Avram ist es nicht gewesen bei Eifen, as ein friedige Avoid is given a keli zum bris. Certainly by Avram, it's not the pshat that he reached the level of bris only because he worked and therefore he's able to have this krisis bris with the Eibishter. An il of the gram zum bris kilo, that all his avoida allowed him now to be able to be a keli to accept this krisis bris. That can't be the pshat. For him canal, it's not pshat, because the whole definition of bris is a bris mil maili sarusa de laela, like we said before from Chassidus, the bemokim sheini sarusa de tata magas shon. The bris was wird aufgetan durch milo bris oilam nitzchius is nit bechek nivra. It's not even in the gdorim of nivra to be able to accomplish it, no matter how much aveda a yid will do. You can never be mamshich isarusa de laela from a place where isarusa de tata is in a magia l'shon. It's not possible. And he says also why. Vorum kol hoive v'nifsad ken anivra nit ufton in them. Anyone or any being that gets lost, that's a nivra, that's not a bleak vul, that's a mugbul, cannot have an effect on bris oilom, nitzchius. A nivra and nitzchius are two opposites. As the Rambam writes in Ilkus, you say the Atera, every nivra is sofkos of heve v'nifsad. From one madriga to another madriga, until you go back to the Dawud, you say this. Nitzchius and nivra are two opposites. So how could you have nitzchius? A godel shebigdelim, welcher versteht ha mitzvah, leburia, the greatest person that understands the mitzvah, the way you should, is nit nenter zu dem via kotten shebigtanim, is not closer in the krisis bris to the Eibishter than a person, a baby or small person that doesn't understand ben yamin l'smeil in the mitzvah, because we're not dealing with pratim, we're dealing with the krisis bris of the Eibishter b'mayla l'mat. So what was the aved of Avram? Was an aved is bloß given an inyan von hachone zum bris. Lepel mamish, it was just a hachone, meaning as durch dem was Avram hat getan sein aved b'shleimus, wie viel an nivra ken ufton als nivra, since Avram was able to fulfill his avoid or whatever a nivra could do, hat ihm der Eibishter noch gegeben a matone mil mailo, soll haben den bris oilem. Because he became a Muslim, so therefore the Eibishter gave him a matone of a sarusa de laelo, where a sarusa de l'tata doesn't reach, which means it's not lefi erech, the hamshoche and the bris and the connection of bris milah is shaloi lefi erech the aved of Avram Avinu. So it's true. The etzem bris that Avram Avinu had and the etzem bris that Animal Ushmene that Yitzchak had, the etzem, the bris is the same. But by Yitzchak, this nekuda was begoli because he was 8 years old. 8 years old. And the Rebbe says, al derech, this idea that the Eibishter gave Avram a matona, which is shaloi lefi erech is avoida, is al derech, ilav David neichel lenafshe leyoyev lematante. It says that when a person gives someone a matona, certainly the mekabel matona did something good for the neisen matona that he's reciprocating and giving him a matona. The Abi is shaili, so why are you calling it a matona? It sounds like tashlum. It sounds like you're paying him for the naicha, the nafshe that he gave him for whatever satisfaction, whatever favor he did for him, so he's reciprocating and paying him for it. So how could you call it a matona? Was der naicha, the nafshe is nicht kein tashlum from the matona. When you give a matona, it's obvious that it's not a tashlum, it's not a payment, or else it wouldn't be called a matona. Und Vaad nicht kein dover machriach, man soll ihm müssen geben the matona. Not only is it not payment, he didn't have to give him the matona, because if he would have to, it wouldn't be a matona. And there wouldn't be the great mila of a matona. It's natural. It's a natural result of the nachas ruach that he did. Because matona always comes mitzad hanoisen. From the fact that we called it matona shows that although there was a nachas ruach that the mekabel matona did for the noisen, nevertheless, it's a matona, which means what he's giving him is shaloi lefi erech the nachas ruach. Aber meidach, wird die matona gegeben, dafke, b'shas is da, der ovet neichel the nafshe. What was me'er the neisen matona to give him a matona? Because he did a nachas ruach. Because he did a nachas ruach for the neisen matona, so b'meil, the neisen matona gave him something that shaloi lefi erech, that's why we call it a matona. And that's the way it is when someone wants to give a present, a gift to someone. Usually it's an appreciation for something that he did. But you're not giving him payment. You're giving a matona. It's something totally different. Avram Avinu's bris was the same. The Eibishter gave him a matana, so to speak, because the Hachana, the Vayeira, Avraham Avinu was Vayeira by the Eibishter to give him a matana, the mitzvah smila. Oh, so L'chayr it's the same bris as Yitzchak, but Afal became the Baal des is doch Yikumen noch der Avoid, Domes Avoid von Avraham Avinu. Since it came through the introduction of Avraham's Nachas Ruach, his Avoid that he gave to the Eibishter, is in sein Kiyam mitzvah smila given reingemischt sein Avodah. So in his mitzvah smila, his Avodah was part of the process. It caused the Eibishter to decide to give him this matana. Bis as euch the mitzvah smila atzmo is by him given verbunden mit seiner Achlote, to the extent that he decided to have a bris. As darf sich mal sein. He decided to have a bris, similar to Yishmael. Yishmael tainet, I was sipik biyodi limches. Avram was also sipik biyodi limches. Chas v'sholem, the Avraham Avinu could have decided also no. Be'etzem. And he gets all the recognition and the appreciation that he decided to have a bris. Not only that, the Rebbe brings in the Ha'ara the famous story mentioned in Ayem Yem. The Rebbe Rashab was a child in the Tofresh Chof. He was born in Tofresh Chof Aleph. This happened before Tofresh Chavov. He went into the Tzemach Tzedek and he was crying. How come the Eibishter hat sich nicht bewiesen zu ihm? He also had a bris. And what did the Tzemach Tzedek answer? As Ayid HaTzadik, the Lashon there, hat sich machlel given to 99 years. He made a decision to 99 years old to make a bris. Is wert, that the Eibishter soll sich zu ihm beweisen. He is deserving that the Eibishter should show himself to him. Which means ad kidei kach, Avraham Avinu was sipek biyodei limches. He was able to be moichi. He could have said no, and he said yes. This was also one of the reasons, says the Tzemach Tzedek to the Rebbe Rashab to his Einekul, that he was deserving that the Eibishter should come sich beweisen to him, to show himself to him, to be mevaker choyle. That's the great mile that Avraham Avinu had. Nevertheless, lamroi zois, the bris that Avraham Avinu made the decision to make a bris, which caused that the Eibishter should be Vayeira Elov Hashem. And the Rebbe has many Sichos explaining what's the Chiddush of this Vayeira Elov Hashem as opposed to the other times of Vayeira Elov Hashem. Kommt nicht. It's different and doesn't come to a bris that a Yid has at 8 days old when the Chris's bris is solely based on the Eibishter's decision and not the Nimel's decision. It's still, that bris brings out the Tifkeit from the Chris's bris more than Avraham Avinu who made the Achlot. Und der Rebbe ist in dem nicht gewinn mutgisch, wenn ich begole, wie der Bris kommt in ganzen Meile. Bei Avraham Avinu, Lamrois, with all the Milos Shebedover, was not obvious in the Bris that it's a crisis that comes from a Milo, that it's not Isarus Didel Tata Magas Desham, which means the Rebbe explained it in the Sicha, that the Pshat is it's like a Matona. Take he gave Manachas Ruach, but it's still a Matona. But if not for the Sicha, you would think it was a natural reaction of what Avraham Avinu did. Avraham Avinu had Avodas Hashem, and he was Eiche to a crisis Bris. We have to learn a Sicha to tell us that it's not like that the Bris Be'etzem was the same. That fact, the Etzem Zach, that you don't see it begoli from the fact that Avraham Avinu did the bris by himself, that in itself shows us that the bris was not the same shleimus, so to speak, as the bris of Yitzchak that was nimel l'shmeinu yomim. And the Rebbe says in the Chotzi Rebu about derech ze by Yishmael, was hat sich mal given to Yud Gimel Shono, had the bris at 13, then Meshina Bardas, he was also a Bardas, kommt es as Yishmael, mit sein Seichel Maskim given to sich mal, and verbinden sich mit den Eibishten, the same chisoron of Yishmael, that he made the decision, so his own Metzias was part of the process, which is missing the idea that it's coming solely from the Eibishten. Tafke by Yitzchak was nimel l'shmeinu yomim. Is given golui wie der Inyan von Bris Milo is a Verbund, was wird geschaffen, nicht mit Zadem Odom an Nimel an Nivra, nor in ganzem mit Zadem Eibishten. Tafke the Bris of Yitzchak. That was when he was a baby, Nimel Shmeina Yomim. So he was telling Yishmael, Ani Choviv Mimcha. I'm better than you, because by me, the connection of the Eibishter to me is so much more begoli than by you, and even than by Avraham Avinu, who made a decision at 99 or 13 years old to have a bris. Just to add one nekuda, l'chayre, this whole biur that the Rebbe is giving, the Chlishne Geya. The kasha itself is machriach that the mahus of the bris of Yitzchak is different. The medrash itself is machriach that he said ani chovev mimcha. So now we know ani melushmein is better than ani melushleish also. We know that there's a fourth madrega, a fourth mitzvah that was given to Yitzchak that he was choncha to be nimel l'shmein yomim. The biur of the chnishni geya. Why do we have to know the biur? It's very nice. The Rebbe knows the biur because the Rebbe is teaching us something. The Rebbe is telling us over here that we have to understand. And we have to appreciate the Krisis Bris, the Bris Elam that the Eibishter gives us because we're Nimel Shmeina Yomim. When we learn the Sicha, we realize that the connection that the Eibishter has to us, the Krisis Bris, the Bris Olam, is a connection that happened by the Eibishter's decision. And we could never have said no. It's a done deal. We're one with the Eibishter. There's a Krisis Bris with us, with the Eibishter. And by a Krisis Bris, the Eibishter says, look, I'm giving you instructions. I'm giving you Torah mitzvahs that you have to keep. I'm giving you your Avodas Hashem that you have to fulfill. And if we know that this connection that the Eibishter has to us and what he wants from us helps us in our own Avodas Hashem.